Hello friends, Ash here. Welcome back to Gents. Hope you're well. In preparation for summertime, in preparation for heat, I have for you guys 10 of the best cologne fragrances that you can wear for when it gets a little spicy outside. Technically, you could wear these also during spring, early fall, or literally actually whenever you want. Turns out there are no rules on that. Yeah, I went ahead and checked the constitution of fragrances and yeah. But regardless of all that, these today are 10 of the best ones that you can rock when it is a little bit hot outside. Fresh, a little bit sweet, sexy, with great performance with most of these to boot. Now, as of this video, JOMASHOP is running a sale on these fragrances. I'll have that linked in the description below, so feel free to check that out. So they're dropping their best prices for each one of these ones that I'm sharing with you here today. Be aware that maybe you wanna also poke your little head around and make sure that it's the bestest price. Because regardless of whether something is a sale or not a sale or whatever, it don't matter. You need to be scooping things for the best possible deal. So that's what's up. That's what's up. Let's begin with Al-Haramain Amber Oud friggin' Dubai, baby. Aqua Dubai Oud Amber. The actual name is Amber Oud Aqua Dubai. That's the real name. So this line right here, kind of funny because it's the Amber Oud line. You would think that everything that they put out in this line is gonna have amber and oud, but turns out no. They actually just came out with some Amber Oud fragrances and it was successful, and they said, heck with it, we're gonna run with it, and we're gonna keep using that name in bottle style for stuff that ain't got nothing to do with either one of those things. So Amber Oud Aqua Dubai, this is a clone of Imagination by Louis Vuitton, and it is a darn good alternative to Imagination and comes with a pressurized atomizer, but no magnetic cap. So, you know, 1 for 2, not 2 out of 2 there, but it does have a cool gradient on the back. Does that count? What does that count for? 1/4 of a point, maybe. So yeah, it's an Imagination alternative with pumped up performance in typical Al-Haramain Amber Oud fragrance style fashion. It is a little bit more expensive than your typical clones. A lot of times clone fragrances are what, like 25, 30 bucks, maybe up to 35, but Amber Oud, a lot of times the Amber Oud releases will be like 45 to 55, kind of in that range. So do be aware of that. A little bit pricier than maybe some of the others, but it is an Extrait de Parfum, so at least you're getting a pumped up concentration, which I need to be doing more of since I can't remember the word concentration. Since that's an Extrait, what do you say we do another Extrait with Ether? Extrait. This one is by French Avenue, which is part of Fragrance World. So we're going from blue to green here. And it makes sense because this is a clone of Greenly by Parfums de Marly, which a lot of people may think of as more of like a springtime fragrance, but realistically anytime you want something that's a little bit sweet, fresh, and of course green, it would work. Now I have to point this out with Ether Extrait. I have to point this out every time I bring this up because it was a big deal to me when I first got this. It did not smell good. Actually, it barely smelled like anything at all. When I very first got this in, opened it up, sprayed it on, it was basically barely there. You know, I might as well have sprayed rubbing alcohol on a tester strip because it was legitimately like, you know, spray, spray, there ain't nothing there. It was, in a word, awful. And actually, this is a good lesson, I guess, with clone fragrances in general, including this one over here and any of the other ones we talk about here today. If you get in a clone fragrance, especially one that the vast majority of people say is actually really good or projects really well or lasts a long time, and you spray it on and you think to yourself, it's nothing. Like there's no projection, or the quality is not there, or whatever. Sometimes with clone fragrances, they do actually smell better after you let them sit for a little while. So keep that in mind. Or they'll project better or last longer, whatever. With this one, all of the above. I came back to it weeks later, weeks later, and it was night and day. It was infinitely better. It actually smelled like Greenly. The quality was great. The projection was there. The longevity, solid. And it went from being legitimately one of the worst clone fragrances that I had smelled to one of the best. So I bring that up about every time I talk about this one, or at least fairly often, because it was such a huge jump. It's usually not that big. It'll be like, you know, the clone fragrance is okay, and then it's like, oh, it's really, really good, or it'll be, it's terrible, and then it becomes like decent. But this one went from terrible to amazing. So keep that in mind. If you get yours, and it comes across like minded initially. Give it some time, go back to it, it will be better. Next up is one called Legacy from Gulf Orchid, which technically it's Maison Asrar, but it's actually Maison Asrar by Gulf Orchid. I really didn't throw that far enough, did I? Just kind of. Gulf Orchid is a little bit like Paris Corner, where some of their fragrances are absolutely drop dead fantastic, and then others are really horrifically bad. More so than most of the other big fragrance clone houses. They're a little bit hit or miss. So when they hit, great. When they miss, no. They can be harsh off the top. Now this one is Blue Talisman, or an alternative rather, to Blue Talisman. There is of course also Art of Universe by Latafa, which is a good alternative to Blue Talisman as well. Now no breakdown wise with Legacy, you have ginger and pear off the top, bergamot as well, some woods, white florals, amber, and vanilla as it dries down. So it's this mix of fresh and sweet, a little bit pungent in your face when you first spray it on, like it's got a good pop off the top, just like Art of Universe. And I wouldn't say for myself that this is necessarily better than Art of Universe, it is just another alternative to Blue Talisman. So if for some reason you find yourself gravitating away from Latafa fragrances, then you could check this one out, and it will do the job just as well. And speaking of Latafa, here's one, Najdia Intense. This is Paradise Garden, or an alternative to Paradise Garden by Jean-Paul Gaultier. And in terms of smell, it's really well done. The quality is nice. The presentation is a bottle. Got a fuzzy cap. I hate that. That is hard-hitting fragrance information right there. The bottle is a bottle. It is not crazy intense as far as the performance goes. Projection is more average. Longevity is okay for a fresher type fragrance. But yeah, the scent profile, really good. Green, sweet, a little bit tropical, very appealing. An easy compliment puller. It's got pineapple off the top, along with mint, ginger, and apple. You've got aquatic notes in there, some tonka as well. Really, really well done. And very inexpensive also, which don't hurt. Let's go next with Hawas Ice, Rasasi Hawas Ice. Now the Hawas line has basically become Rasasi's like clubbed in a weed. You know, it's their most popular line. They've been coming out with more flankers in the Hawas lineup, really trying to expand that out a little bit. And Hawas Ice is kind of what you would expect by the name. It's got that Hawas DNA, that Hawas style, which is similar to Invictus or Invictus Aqua, only this one is fresher and brighter. So it's got apple and citrus off the top. You've also got cardamom, orange blossom, plum, musk as it dries down, along with a little bit of a woodiness. The performance is actually really solid. So even though this is a summertime Hawas flanker, it still projects very well. It lasts a long time. The only potential drawback with this one is that it's not as cheap as a lot of other clone type fragrances. Hawas, you know, the Hawas flankers, a lot of times a little bit more pricey. As part of the sale, it's like 35 bucks, but other places like right now, as of this video on FragranceNet, it's like mid 60s or low 60s. So yeah, in that mid 30 range, perfect. Once you start getting up close to like 65, 70, a little iffy. By little, I mean a lot. Khadlaj Island is next, and this is another Lowe flanker, Lowe type flanker. So this one over here was Paradise Garden, while this one is Lowe Le Parfum. Kind of a similar thing going on here also with Najdia Intense, where the longevity is really solid here. The projection is good, but maybe not amazing. Again though, it's good, it's solid, it gets the job done in terms of projection. Atomizer's pretty nice, pressurized atomizer on there. So you're gonna get coconut with this one, a good amount of it, gonna give you more of a creamy sweetness compared to Paradise Garden. Still has that tropical flair to it though, with pineapple off the top, a little bit of iris in here as well, tonka as it dries down. And Lowe Le Parfum is a constant, consistent compliment puller, and this will do the job just the same. Let's go Jean Lowe Immortal up next, which I believe depending on where you're shopping nowadays, it looks like it is spelled Immortal, so T-E-L instead of T-A-L, but same fragrance. So with this one, you get a lot of citrus off the top, a nice little magnetic cap, maybe not the strongest magnetic cap, but they tried. You also have ginger in here, some aquatics, some aromatic notes as well. It's an alternative to Louis Vuitton's Limensity. So you have two different Louis Vuittons right here and right here. Louis Vuitton is fantastic for summertime. They have so many scents that are great when it's warm outside. Citrusy, clean, fresh, sweet, compliment pulling, high quality, in demand, but also very expensive. And so that's where the alternatives come into play. And this one for Limensity, one of the absolute best. There's also this one, North Stag 4, which is also very citrusy, and a lot of orange in here, which, you know, is reflected in the color of the bottle. So as Sicilian orange and Mandarin orange, along with bergamot and ginger, smells a little bit similar to Afternoon Swim, again by Louis Vuitton. Only this one, the citrus, it comes across a little bit more like a candied citrus, more of that sweetness in the citrus notes compared to the LV. Yeah, just really bright, sweet, a little bit rindy, and candied. Really fresh, high quality, smells absolutely fantastic, and better performance in this one than the original. Turathi is up next, Turathi Blue by Afnan. That is one of the more popular, more well-known summertime clones that's come out over the last few years. So it's got citruses, amber, woods, another one very fresh with the big focus on that citrus off the top, and it smells similar to Bulgari's Tiger. And the price on this one has actually crept up over time. It used to be cheaper. Nowadays, it's going a lot of times for like mid-30s. Sometimes you might even see it for more. With this sale, it's going $29.99, so essentially 30 bucks. So a little bit less than most other places. But again, feel free to, you know, look around and everything. Absolutely though, for the money, one of the best smelling, highest quality summertime clones on the market. And we're gonna finish with a little more citrus. Just got to. It's Armaf Limoni Fresh Edition, or technically Odyssey Limoni Fresh Edition. And here is the deal with this one. It is, you know, a bit similar to Afternoon Swim, again. So both of these are in that style, but it's also, to an extent, doing its own thing a little bit. Give this one a spray also, again. So no breakdown wise for Odyssey Limoni Fresh here. It has citrus, including orange, bergamot, and lemon. It's got ginger, tea, amber musk, aquatic notes, and orange blossom. So a little more going on as far as the no breakdown compared to North Stag over here. And that is reflected in the fragrance as well. So North Stag, much more focused on that citrus, a powerful citrus, the way it comes across. Like I said, sweet, a little bit rindy as well, kind of candied. Odyssey Limoni Fresh has a little bit more of a difference in what's going on around the citrus. It still has sweetness to it, but then it has that aquatic vibe. The orange blossom adds a nice softness along the edges of the scent. So the citrus isn't quite as punchy when you first spray it on, but it still has a nice brightness, a nice zing, helped along by that ginger. And then the tea gives it this little like tart aspect that cuts through as it dries. Both really well done, just kind of like different strokes for different folks. Like, which style do you want of an Afternoon Swim alternative? Maybe this works better for you, maybe that works better for you. Just depends on what you're looking for. But with these 10 right here, you have a sick lineup for spring and summer and early fall. Fresh fragrances that are really easy to wear, much higher quality than they cost. The majority of these fantastic at pulling compliments if that's what you're after. Again, I have linked in the description where you can pick these up on sale if you want to check them out. And in general, these are all pretty easy to find. Sometimes I've got clone fragrances that I got from like a random tiny website, but these are all pretty easy to pick up. Thank you guys for hanging with me. Stay safe out there, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys.